My name is Keith Burns. I'm with Green Cover Seed. We're located in south central Nebraska, and our main business is helping farmers increase the health of their soil on their farm. We do this primarily by selling cover crop seed, but we also do a lot of consulting and recommendations on how guys can do a better job of maintaining and increasing the health of their soil. And basically our business is built around the 5 principles of soil health, and what we really encourage people to do is to follow those 5 tenets in keeping the soil covered at all times and to minimize the disturbance. We have our own farm, and we've been no-tilling 2,500 acres now for 20 years, so we have practical experience in the no-till end of things. We want a living root in the ground as often as possible, and that's where the cover crops really come into play in helping guys get that going. And we want to have as much diversity in the crop rotation as possible as well. And so in most people's crop rotations, it's such a, it's difficult to do with the cash crops that they're growing. So we encourage them to get that diversity through the cover crops. And then of course the integrating of livestock in their operations. And we've got some pictures here of some of our different customers and how they're integrating livestock with these diverse cover crop mixes. Probably about 2/3 of the cover crops that we sell will end up getting grazed, and as you can see here, these nice diverse mixes have incredible amount of potential for putting gain on livestock and keeping the herd healthy. So we're really excited about the potential that cover crops have with livestock. And one of the other things that we really see is how cover crops can really increase and enhance soil biology. The rhizosphere around these different cover crops, like this turnip here, is just filled with life and with root life and the worms and all the other soil microbiology. And you can see what the cover crops are helping do with the soil structure. We also have some of our customers are interested in producing nitrogen with their cover crops. As this vetch plant here shows, it's nodulating really well, and we are using cover crops to help producers generate their own nitrogen instead of always having to commercially purchase it. This is just a sample. This is about half of the different seeds that we sell. We carry over 70 different types of seeds. Some of them are really weird ones like Egyptian wheat and plantain, and some of them are fairly common like oats and barley and peas. But we feel by having the wide variety of things that we do, we can kind of custom make mixes that will meet the needs of just about any producer at any fallow period time that they have where they can do a cover crop. One of the kind of unique things that we have on our company has developed and that we have on our website, it's actually free for anyone to use, is the Smart Mix Calculator. And there's just kind of a little picture of it here, but I would encourage you to go on our website, greencoverseed.com, to check it out. But what this calculator does is you put in your information like where you live, your zip code, and the program will know your annual precipitation, it knows your growing degree days, knows your first frost, your last frost, and then you tell it what the goals for the cover crop, you tell it the goals you want to accomplish, because you should never plant a cover crop without knowing what your goals are. And then based on the goals and based on where you live and the time of the year that you're going to plant, this program will help make some recommendations. It's not going to tell you exactly what you need to plant. You still need to do some homework and figure that out. But it's going to kind of guide you along those lines and say these groups of cover crops are going to be probably the best ones. And so based on that, you can choose the covers that you want to have in your mix. And one nice thing about this is that it's going to tell you exactly what it's going to cost, because this is working off our actual real-time prices. And so you can experiment with these different mixes and you can get an actual cost of what that mix is going to run. The other thing that this is going to do is it's going to predict the carbon nitrogen ratio of the mix that you've chosen. It'll give some indicator scores of nitrogen fixation potential, grazing potential, drought tolerance, frost tolerance, winter hardiness, and things like that. And again, it's not an exact science, but it gives you a pretty good idea of where you're at with the mix. And then you can go and you can change things. You can add, you can take away, you can change species, and you can see how that affects or how that changes the scores on your particular mix. So you can kind of design and redesign a mix and kind of see where you're at with that. We also have a new catalog this year. That's a 20-page catalog that's got a lot of good information in it. There's information about different kinds of mixes, but there's also some alternative summer options like what can you do if you get hail damage on some of your crops, or what if you want to do a double crop hay. So it talks about that a little bit, but it also is going to talk about, there's a section in here that's going to talk about herbicide options or herbicide concerns with cover crops. There's the herbicide page there. It's got some really helpful links, some good information about what herbicide concerns you need to be using with cover crops. There's a section that talks about fertility and should I fertilize my cover crops, and how much nitrogen can I fix if I use legumes. There's also a section about livestock and grazing, and it's going to talk a little bit about the carrying capacity that you can have with these different cover crops, and you know, how much grazing you might be able to expect with some of these cover crops. So it's a good resource. If you get to one of the shows that we're at, you can pick one up at our booth, but you can also download the whole catalog. It's available on our website as well. You can click on that. Our website does have lots of other links, and we're starting to we have a YouTube channel. We've got a lot of videos out there of ourselves presenting, and also speakers like Gabe Brown and Ray Archuleta and folks like that just are really good soil health teachers. So our website, greencoverseed.com, has lots of information that you can access to help you improve the health of your soil.